Hello friends, we are going to discuss about static method and static variable in Java. So before discussing about static method and static variable, I just want to recall you where we have ended in the last session. I have told that we have created some instance variable and that instance variable can be accessed in every method of the class. Now I was accessing that instance variable in a method display that was getting accessed. I was accessing instance variable in a method show that was getting accessed, but it was not getting accessed inside the main method. And I told you while you will run this program, you will find an error, and the error will come that you are accessing a static variable in non-static variable in a static reference. So there I have ended the topic. Now we are going to start what I have told you. So just forget about this error and let's start about static variable, static properties and method of the Java. Now the question arises, what is the purpose of creating static properties inside the Java? Listen, uh, forget about static properties. I'm just asking you an example. Let's suppose I need to store your information. Information like your name, age, roll number, and okay, only three things: name, age, and roll number. I have created a class, student. Just try to understand, try to listen my things, whatever I am telling very carefully. I have created a class, taken a string name, int roll number, int age, created a method get. By using that get method, I have taken all the values. And by using display, we have displayed all the values. Now, you know that memory is not allocated for the class. Memory is allocated for what? Memory is allocated for the object. So when first student is coming, I am taking the name Amit, roll number 101 and age 22. The second student is coming Sumit. I am taking name Sumit, roll number 102, age 23. This is absolutely okay. That you all know that memory is allocated for the object and each and individual object should require different memory location to store its different values. Now I am changing this example and now I just want to take name, roll number, age as well as faculty name and university name. Now let's suppose there are 10 students, 10 different memory location will be created. Now think and tell me, are you feeling that there is a problem over here? Yes, there is a problem. What is the problem? Because the name of faculty and name of university is same for all, still memory is allocating separately for all object. And if you will think it, you will find a lot of memory is going waste. It will be because as per concept, we all know that memory is not allocated for the class. Memory is allocated for whom? Object. And every individual object require a different memory location. Now, because the name of university and name of faculty is very same for all the object, a lot of memory is going to waste. What could be the solution of this problem? If you want to save the memory, what you will do? Here the concept of a static get introduced. When you are going to create the property like a static, means static variable does not allocate memory for each and individual object separately. It allocates memory only once and shared by all the objects regardless of the number of objects. What will be the advantage? The thing which is common for all the object, you do not require to create memory for separately for individual object. You have to take it as a static, and once you will take it as a static, it will just allocate only one memory and shared by all the object. And just think, if the faculty is going to change, so let's suppose right now Pankaj is teaching you and instead of Pankaj somebody else is going to teach you, what will happen? That faculty will be you know change for all object, not for a single one. So here faculty name I can take it as a static. I can take it university name as a static. So that is the actual need of a static member. So static properties is required for this purpose only. Now, if you understand what I said, I am giving you an example and you have to think and give me the answer. So let's see an example. I have created a class ABC. Now I have taken two members inside this class, int A and static int B. Now I have created a parameterized method get, which is receiving a parameter int B and assigning that P to A and increasing the static variable. So by default, a static variable is going to be initialized with 0. I have created a display method and displaying A and B. So remember about this class. Inside the class I have created two methods, get and disp. Get is receiving a parameterized value, and there are two variables, int A and a static int B. Now this is the most important slide of this session. Now I have created an object A1, I have created an object A2, and I have created an object A3, and I have instantiated all the three objects. I have assigned A1 dot get, I have called get method with the value 10 and calling A1 dot display what it will display. I have again assigned A2 dot get and passed the value 20 and calling A1 dot disp and A2 dot disp. My question is from you that what will be the value of A and B for A1 and what will be the value of A and B for A2. I have again called get method with the value 30 and called A1.display, A2.display, A3.display, and you have to think and tell what will be the value of A and B. Now, here you need to think how the memory is going to allocate it. Look, for A1, the memory for A is get allocated because A was non-static. For A2, memory is separately allocated for A, and for A3, memory is separately allocated for A. What about B? B will allocate a common memory which is shared by A1, A2 and A3. When you call A1.get and pass 10, what happened? Because A1 has a separate memory for A, so it will contain 10 for A and the value of B will become 1. And now when you are calling A1.disp, the value of A will be displayed as a 10 and the value of B will be displayed as a 1. Now, when you write A2.get20, so the A2 has a separate memory location for A, that is holding 20 now. But for B, it was earlier 1, but now it is 2. And now the value 2 is for A1, A2 and A3. And while you are calling A1.display, means for A1 the memory was separate for A that was containing 10. But now B is containing 2, so the value of B will be displayed as a 2. Even though you are calling A2.disp, A2 has a separate memory location for A, so it is containing 20. So the value of A will be 20, but B is now 2. Again you are calling A3.get and you are passing 30. What will happen? A3 has a separate memory location for A that is going to hold 30, but now the value of B is 3, so that the value of B is 3 is for A1, A2 and A3 all. So when you are calling A1.disp, the separate memory A is holding 10, but the value of B is now 3. When you are calling A2.disp, the separate value of A is holding 20, but the value of B is 3. And A3.disp, it will show you the value of A is 30 and B is 3. So that is the concept behind static properties. So that you need to take care. So if you are, I think you must be clear. I would like to request that please run this program in your command prompt. Save it in Notepad and run it. You will better understand what is the purpose of a static variable. So simply, whenever you are going to allocate memory, separately you are taking it as a non-static, and when you want to create a memory which is common for all the object, then you need to take a static variable. And a static variable is also known as class variable because it doesn't belongs to any object, it belongs to directly class. Now what about a static method? There are two things that you need to take care while you are using a static method. The first thing is what? Static methods are the method which can only access a static member inside it. Now focus on this line. I said that static method are the method which can only access static member inside it. Tell me, does a static method contain anything which belongs to a particular object? Because it is just accessing a static members, and the static members are common for all objects, so it doesn't contain anything which belongs to a separate object. It is containing everything which belongs to a complete class, so it is not going to call by using the object. So second important point that you need to take care is that a static method cannot be called by using the object, it is always called by using the class name. So in the previous example, I have created a static method void show, and you are looking here, I am displaying A, that will give an error, and the error will be the same what I have discussed in the last class. You are accessing a non-static variable in a static reference. Now if you will remember the things, all things will be cleared for you, because main was static and you were accessing ABC inside the main, and ABC was non-static. Inside a static method you can only access what? Static members. That's why that was an error. So at the time of calling, you are looking, I have written so, I have called so directly, because main is also a static and you can directly call the static method inside static method, or you can use class name instead of object. Rest is remains same. Now the question arises, why I am creating main as a static? Look, I am giving you the answer. Just make yourself cool and try to understand. Let's suppose main is what? Main is a method. At the runtime, what you are writing? Name of class. How main is going to be called at runtime? If you will not create as a static, main is not going to be called. Because I wanted to call the main method, I made the main method as a static. And because main method, I have made it a static, it can be called by using the class name. So at the runtime, I was writing the class name. That's why in Java we create main as a static method. So that is a very important question which is asked inside the interview also. Why we create main as a static? Because in Java program I want to call the main method at the command prompt. And we all know Java is a pure object-oriented language, and in object-oriented language any method is called by using object or class name. Now main is not a miracle, main is not as a jadoo. So if you want to call a main method, you have to create an instance, and creating instance at command prompt is not possible at all. So you have created main as a static, and at runtime you are writing the name of the class which is very much capable of call that main method. That's why in Java we create main method as a static. Now the question arises, why we create main as a public? So you all know about public, that public modifier means you can access that method anywhere, and you are accessing the main method outside from your program. So it is mandatory to create main as a public. If you will not create main as a public, you could unable to access that main method at command prompt. So the answer is, if interviewer is asking why we create main method as a public and a static, because we are accessing the main method at command prompt, and Java is a pure object-oriented language. If we are going to access the main method at different location, we need to create it as a public. Again, Java is a pure object-oriented language. For calling any method, we should require two things: either the instance of that class or the name of the class. Now we cannot create instance of a class at command prompt. We have created main as a static, and at the runtime we write the name of the class which is very much capable of calling the main method. That is a concept behind creating a main as a static and public in Java. So I hope you all are clear about why we create main as a public and a static, and why in the last class we were accessing the ABC inside a main and it was giving the error. So I would like to request every one of you that this is a very small concept, but if your concept is clear, then programming is very easy. So try to focus on the concept, learn right concept. That is very much important. So practice it. And now our new topic is array. Look, array is nothing new. This is very similar to C++. So what is the definition of array? Array, you all know that contains similar kinds of values. Array always allocates memory continuously. Array subscript start from 0 to size -1. Everything is very similar to C and C++. So I am not going to, teach you about array. Yes, one thing is different, is what? Array is a reference variable in Java. And again I am recalling you, reference variables are the variables which holds the address of the memory location where actual value is stored. So declaration of array is something different in Java. So you need to declare an array and take care that the bracket, read the first line and second line. You are looking, we can put the bracket before the name of array and after the name of array, both is same in Java. And then you have to create the reference for it, and for creating the reference I have discussed in the last class, new keyword is used, and then you need to write array name equals to new data type and then the array of size. For example, I have given you declaration. If you are initializing the value, there is no need to instantiate it. But if you are initializing value later or you are taking it from the user, you have to define its size also. This is very similar to C++ REST. I would like to request every one of you that please create 10-15 programs related to array which you have already done in C++. REST all concept is very common, very similar. Array index 0 to size -1 moves. Loop will iterate the same way like you have done in C++. So I'm not going to discuss too much about arrays in Java. So just this is different that I have shown to you, and I would like to request every one of you that please practice how much you can do. So Java is nothing, it's a conceptual language. If your concept is very clear, you can easily understand the Java programming language. So thank you very much for the day. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you.